What about a change in terms? Okay, so you've given them account opening disclosures, you've listed everything that's required, and now most of the time that those are relatively hardwired. You just need to make sure that you're giving them exactly what your system is doing and what the legal obligations are. What if you're going to change something after the fact? Okay, so after the fact, let's say then you're going to change the rules, right? And that could be problematic for consumers. It's like, well, you told me this is how it's going to work, and now you're going to change something. Well, first off, if you're going to take an act that is going to do a couple of these things, look at what it says under letter A on page 32. If you're going to reduce the annual percentage yield, or if you're going to adversely affect the consumer, then you have to provide this notice. You have to let them know in advance. So you have to give them 30 calendar days before the effective date. Okay. Now, this notice, you're going to let them know the effective date of when this change is going to occur, presuming that it's going to reduce the APY, or if it's going to have some other adverse effect. You're going to let them know this is the date it's going to happen, and it needs to be provided to them 30 calendar days beforehand, or it needs to be mailed 30 days beforehand. Now, the format, actually, there's a few exclusions that are there in the middle of page 32, and there's some if a promotion expires, you don't have to go through and let them know, oh, your promotional rate has expired, so we're going to have this change. No, there's some exceptions for that. But look at number 3 down there. What format? How does this notice have to appear? So it could be you send them a formal notice on a piece of paper where you say, these are the things that we're changing. These are the effective dates of the change. That's perfectly fine. But, there's other ways you could do it that might be easier. And one of them is a periodic statement. You could send out on their previous periodic statement, as long as it's 30 calendar days in advance, you could say, these are the changes that are coming and here's the effective date. As long as you're clear there, that's perfectly fine. Watch out though, because here's the thing, not all of your periodic statements, they may not be cut on the same date, because a lot of financial institutions, it's a rolling periodic statement, right? So some, certain number of people, their periodic statements, they go out in the first part of the month, and then maybe in the middle of the month, there's another group that goes out, and then maybe closer to the end of the month, there's a whole nother group that goes out. So you may have it rolling through there. So you need to make sure that every one of your customers, that it goes out in enough time so that they have at least that 30-day window, okay? Also, can you just send them the updated disclosures? You say, okay, well, you had old disclosures, we're gonna change this, this, and this, and so we'll just send you updated disclosures. And the answer is, if you do that, you need to highlight the changes. You need to highlight the areas where those changes took place and give, if you're going to give them those revised disclosures. Now, why is that? Because if I have my old disclosures here and you send me brand new disclosures and it's like 18 pages of mouse print, it's not on me to go through and try to figure out where you changed something. You need to highlight where the changes actually occurred. Few exceptions that are out there. So no notice is required if it's just a variable rate change. Now, why is that? Because you told them on the front end, and we're going to talk about how that works, but you told them on the front end that this is going to be a variable rate account. You told them how that would work. And so you don't have to send out a change in notice every time the rate changes. Check printing fees. If your check printing fees are going to go up, you don't have to send a notice here. Why? Because that's not always something that you're responsible for. Usually it's a vendor that raises those check printing fees. And then number 3, short-term time accounts. So if you have like a CD that is very short-term, and you're going to change the terms, chances are, if it's 1 month or less, you're not going to have enough time to, send that out anyway. So you don't have 30 days within the course of a month anyway. So, it doesn't make sense for those that short of a time on a time account.